Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order for the City of Sandy Oaks regular city council meeting for Thursday, January 14th, 2006. We'll start with a quorum call. Alderman Tremblay.
Present.
Alderwoman Gillespie.
Here.
Alderwoman Tanguma.
Present.
Alderman Tomasini.
Here.
We have a quorum. Before we move on to the next item, I'd like to recognize Dawn and David, is it Totten, for donating the flag that we have here behind us. So that's their gift to the city. And now if you'll all stand, we'll do Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the citizens to be heard. And first up would be Dawn Allison and David Totten.
I just wanted to make mention of the fact that Dave and I did think about what we could do for the city and for the council, and we decided that an inexpensive flag would be the thing to do. I hope that this shows our support for the city and for these fine people who work completely free of charge, work themselves to death, are not appreciated enough. I would also like to say that if all of us in this city could dwell not on the negative aspects that we think of, but try to work toward the positive of this new city and do whatever small thing that we can to help our city succeed. You know, I was not raised to be a failure. I was raised to strive for success in whatever. This city, I am striving for success in whatever way I can. And if all of us do the same in our own small way, we're going to have one great city.
Thank you. Next up is Mike Miller.
Yes, I have a question. I'd like to say something. I live over on Black Cherry, and on the corner of Black Cherry and Hickory Shadow, I had an altercation with the owner because he started an RV park. And I asked him, I said, you can't do that, it's not allowed. And he told me that the city council, Sandy Oaks, gave him permit and told him he could have an RV park there. And the reason why it concerns me is because from Waterwood Pass, Hickory Shadow from Waterwood Pass, Black Cherry, Copper Canyon all the way to New Mathis, it's terrible, it's a slum. And if we don't start doing something about cleaning our area up and doing it, it's just going to keep getting worse. It was a beautiful area when I moved in there. It's just terrible now. And I'd like to know what we're going to do about it, because I sure don't want to be living by an RV park that shouldn't be here. And if you have any comments on it, I'd like to hear it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up would be Charles, is it Fillinger?
Fillinger.
Fillinger?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. My name is Charles Fillinger. I'm a resident of the city of Sandy Oaks for about 5.5 years. I wish to discuss agenda item number 6 and number 7. After a very hard time downloading forms from our city, I had to fill out the application for the position of Alderman 4 on the Spanish form because the English form would not come in at all. I mailed it in time and received a phone call from the city clerk on December 31st, stating that the form had to be notarized. Although the website nor the instructions from the city council said anything about having it notarized. Ms. Ray graciously told me not to worry about it because I offered to fill out a new form and bring it immediately having it notarized. She graciously said there's plenty of time because we're waiting for the rest of the applications to come in. Sunday morning when I rose up and opened my phone, I had an instant message that stated she had forwarded my application to the mayor and it was denied because it was not notarized. And she could not accept the application after December 31st. I see that tonight we're going to discuss and take action to fill the vacant position of alternate place 4. And it's on the agenda, swearing in and administering the oath of office. I feel that the application process has been faulty in that the city council made and passed a motion stating a deadline of December 31st was selected as the last day for the city clerk to accept applications. The city's website stated that December 31st was the date it must be postmarked. Several emails have gone back and forth stating they were waiting on the applications to come in that were postmarked December 31st or earlier. I don't know what to say. If the council decided that the application had to be accepted by December 31st, why does the website say it must be postmarked by December 31st? They're not the same thing. I would like to see this cleared up and made proper. If the deadline is to receive it by December 31st, then it shouldn't be postmarked up by December 31st. I feel very disappointed that I was not given any opportunity to interview with the council, and that's my take for the night. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 4 on the agenda is the financial report. The income and expenses will be reported by City Clerk Charlotte Rabe.
Our beginning balance was $89,211.65. Check on December the 15th to Office Depot for office supplies and copies. December 21st to Mickey Ball for printing and supplies. December 21st to Kasani Ortiz for $1,770.20. December 21st, Wilson County News, $25.50. December 21st, Bear County Appraisal District, $319. December 31st, Office Depot office supplies, $39.27, totaling $2,421.91. And the following deposits in the month of December. Bear County Tax Assessor, the final for November was $9,826.65. Bear County Tax Assessor, December the 1st through the 10th, $10,002.59. The Texas State Comptroller, November sales tax, $3,253.46. Bear County Tax Assessor, December 11th through December 23rd, $27,938.10. And Bear County Tax Assessor, December the 24th through the 27th, $10,376.51. Total deposits of $61,397.31, leaving us an ending balance of $148,187.05.
There's a, oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong page. Okay, thank you, Ms. Rabe. The next items are consent agenda, and if any one of these items needs to be pulled, it'll be discussed separately. Is there any, Ms. Gasson, I do have a question on this. There is an error on one of the items listed for approving the minutes from December 15th. That was not a regular meeting, that was a special meeting. So we would pull that one?
Or we can approve it next time.
We can approve it next time? Okay. So the remaining items on the consent agenda are to approve the minutes from September 2nd, which was a special city council meeting, discuss and consider approval of minutes from September 8th, which was also a special city council meeting, approve the invoice number 1094 from Casan and Ortiz in the amount of $1,890, and approve reimbursement of $40 to Alderwoman Gillespie for attending the Texas Municipal League Small Cities Problem Solving Clinic in Cuero, Texas on December 11th, 2015.
I'd make a motion that we just amend the council minutes from December 15th to read just a council meeting, omitting special, and approve as amended.
Can we do
so
that?
We don't, so that we don't cover the subject again. And with that, I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor from Alderman Tremblay to amend item 4 on the consent agenda to read from regular to special city council meeting, and a second from Alderwoman Gillespie. Anyone have any discussion?
So what are we changing? Is what it's called on the agenda?
Yes, we're changing the item on the agenda from reading regular to read special. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Move on to item 6 on the agenda, which is to discuss and take action to fill the vacant position of Alderman Place 4 by appointment as authorized by Local Government Code Section 22.010. First order of business that we have here is a resolution by the City Council to allow us to fill that position. And you each should have a copy of this. Do you have it?
Is it in there? I don't think it was in there. I
Well-
have a copy of it, but I don't think it was in there.
Well, I can read it. It's pretty short.
Here it is.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas, declaring a vacancy on the council for the unexpired term of Alderman Place 4 and filling the vacancy by appointment. Whereas the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas, also known as City, is a Type A municipality with an aldermanic form of government pursuant to Chapter 22 of the Local Government Code, and whereas Alderwoman Mickey L. Ball served as alderman for Place 4, and whereas Mickey L. Ball was elected as mayor for an unexpired term in a special election held on November 3rd, 2015, for the purpose of filling the unexpired term of mayor due to the resignation of Mayor Jim Clement, and took office on November 12th, 2015. And whereas Alderwoman Ball's election to the position of the unexpired term of mayor creates a single vacancy on the council for Alderman Place 4. And whereas Chapter 22 of the Local Government Code provides if for any reason a single vacancy exists on the governing body of the municipality, a majority of the remaining members, excluding the mayor, may fill the vacancy by appointment unless an election to fill the vacancy is required by Article 11, Section 11 of the Texas Constitution. And whereas it has been determined an election to fill the vacancy is not required by Article 11, Section 11 of Texas Constitution, and the council desires to fill the vacancy by appointment for the remainder of the unexpired term. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas, Section 1, the City Council declares a vacancy on the council for Alderman Place 4. Section 2, the city council appoints, we'll leave it blank for now, to fill the position of Alderman Place 4 for the unexpired term until the next regular municipal election pursuant to Local Government Code 22.010. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect immediately from and after the passage and approval of this resolution. Passed and approved on this 14th day of January 2016. So we would sign this after an appointment is made and accepted. Got it. Okay, so along those lines, we, back in November, had discussed how to go about filling the vacancy. And the standard, what's available to the council is just for any alderman to make a nomination. And the council decided at that time that they would much rather kind of offer it up to the citizens, give them an opportunity to apply. And so it was voted on that we would give citizens an opportunity to submit applications to be postmarked by December 31st. And then any qualified applications would be considered by the council. We did receive 2 applications. The first one is from a gentleman named Gary Bricken, who lives on Young Oak, and he has been in the city for 8 years and 2 months. And his is notarized, completely filled out. The second one received was from Charles Fillinger of Opportunity Drive, indicating he's been here for 5 years. His was signed, it was not notarized. I have spoken with Mr. Bricken, and unfortunately, he has decided to withdraw his application. So the council cannot consider him for the position. So at this time, I will accept nominations from the council
I'm going
to fill the vacancy.
to pass these out, so I have a nomination for the vacancy. And I would like to nominate Melissa Matehuala.
Well, can I
Hang on.
ask a question first?
Sure.
Does the fact that Mr. Fillinger's application not being notarized, does that
No, it's just not,
disqualify him?
unless you want to nominate him. I'm making this nomination. You are more than welcome to nominate him.
Well, yeah, I was just asking though if it
No,
was.
it can be considered. I'm simply making a nomination. So with that, I would like to nominate Mrs. Melissa Matehuala. She is a resident of Sandy Oak. She's a registered voter. She's married with 3 children. Her occupation is in medical administration. She is bilingual. She has reasons for wanting to serve on the council. One being she envisions some type of facility such as a park with a track and a playground, possibly picnic areas with some barbecue pits for all the citizens, especially for the youth population. She'd like to see some road and street improvements done. She'd like emphasis on streetlights. And one of her major interests was better communication with the Hispanic community. So with those, with that being said, and I've spoken with Melissa several times, I have a lot of faith in her that she'll do well as a member of this council. Therefore, I am nominating her.
Is she
And
here?
She is here, and I will,
Oh, hi.
I'll move for a rising vote on this nomination.
Do we just nominate one person at a time or
Yes.
are all the not, okay.
I think we can vote. I move for a rising vote.
You're going to have to explain what that means.
It's a motion. I move for a rising vote, meaning that the council will take a vote at this time.
Okay. Without a second?
Correct? You'll ask for a second. I'm making a motion
Okay.
that we vote.
Okay.
So I made a motion. I'm asking for a second.
Okay, we have a motion by David Tremblay, Alderman Tremblay, for a nomination for Alderman Place 4 of Melissa, and can you say your last name, please? Matawala. Do we have a second?
I second to nominate Melissa Matawala for Alderman Place 4, City of Sandy Oaks.
Okay, we have a second. Is there any other discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome.
Alderman swearing.
I do have some paperwork. I didn't realize we were going to get this far, but I did bring it just in case. If you want to come up, we'll go ahead and do your swearing in. And just so I'm clear, let me go back to that page. I want to make sure I have your name spelled correctly.
Okay.
So it's Melissa
Matehua.
Hua. Oops, Hula. Okay,
Sign this one, and then you give her
I'll give her a copy.
and then she'll actually take.
Okay. Okay, so she's going to sign the statement of the offer first, then we'll do the swearing in. Okay, so I need you to read this and sign that. Okay. It needs to be in blue. Is that a blue pen?
That's not a blue pen.
Charlotte has a blue pen. And I'm sitting here writing in black. Well, you know it's an original if it's in blue. You have a blue pen? Okay. Perfect, thank you. Wait, you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. We're gonna some more. Okay, this will be your copy of the oath of office. Let me. Okay, so I'm gonna read you the oath. You're gonna raise your right hand. I, Melissa Matawala. This is gonna be a mouthful. Okay, go ahead.
I, Melissa Matawala,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of Alderman Place 4
of the office of Alderman Place 4
for the city of Sandy Oaks
for the City of Sandy Oaks
and the state of Texas,
and the State of Texas,
and will do the best of my ability, and will to the best of my ability
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States and of this state.
of the United States and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you. Thank you.
We have a spot for you here.
And my last name is misspelled on here.
On there?
Yeah. Okay.
Melissa Matehula.
UALA.
Did I get it right on here?
No. And this one either.
You got some extras? Yay. Well then, have a seat and I'll let you write your name. I spelled it like, Huala.
I got it.
Okay, if you'll do that, then we'll sign that and have that part done. And then we'll get copies for you as well. Show me that again. Matehula. Will you pass this down to Charlotte. And Charlotte, if you'll get your signature and the number on it, and then get me a copy, and I'll get it posted. That's hers. No, that's Leslie's pen. Okay. Well, thank you, Alderman Tremblay, for that. So that took care of item 6 and item 7. Okay, next on the agenda, a presentation by Damon Gibbs of Edge Construction on plans for commercial development of the lot located behind and beside Dollar General, and discuss and take possible action. Are you here, Mr. Gibbs? Hi.
Hey, I'm Damon Gibbs. I just wanted to try and see if I can
come on
get
up.
y'all's blessing on these plans that I have here and these ideas that I have going in there.
Okay.
A few of them, so
Okay.
we'll look at that.
Am I sharing with you?
So the big one would be a site plan of my overall plan that I have for that corner.
Okay, so here's Dollar General. Okay. So you own the strip behind,
I own all the rest of the property.
oh, all the rest of it, okay.
Yes.
You're just talking about the strip behind it.
Yeah, right now what I'm planning on doing is this strip mall, which would be this first phase of 10,250 square feet, and I'm gonna do 3 of them, which will bring in all these stores and, you know, ideas, and
Each phase is 10,000?
10,250 square feet each phase.
And you said this is the first phase, this
Yes, yes, sir.
This next one is 20,000, and this whole thing is 20,000.
This whole thing,
Yes, the
yeah.
whole thing is 20,000.
does that one septic service all the areas?
It is.
Or do you have multiple?
It's gonna be a humongous, like, system. It's not like a regular septic, and it's all, you know, gotta be passed to the state, of course, I mean, to the board and all that stuff,
Right.
to the city, because that's closely monitored. Septics are.
So you have
You can't get electricity
entrance,
without that.
2 entrances here and off of here, I guess.
I
Is
believe
there entrance going to be here?
there is, I believe, I'm talking with TxDOT now, and I believe they're gonna allow me 3 entrances off of this
Off of here?
road. Oh, yes.
Oh, off of here.
This road?
Yes, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, 'cause that's not-
I'm looking at it upside
okay.
down,
Got
sorry.
2 marked.
Yes, three entrances.
So you're not planning on one here on New
And
Memphis?
I do, I plan on, the septic system goes right here, I'm waiting to see how all that falls out, and I plan on making
okay.
as many as I can right there, but there's a way that they do that, calculation of speed and different things that they calculate, so they can tell you how many driveways you could put there, so.
Yeah.
But on that side, it's not no problem, because it's all flat, and my concern is over here, because I have to make a bridge to
Right.
get across the,
Yeah.
so.
So
And
what
this
would
wouldn't be
this?
TxDOT anyway.
No, that's not TxDOT.
There were
This
3
is city.
spots that I have available still that are the size enough for a Jack in the Box, McDonald's or something, 3 spots that big.
These 3?
Yes, it's just this one spot right here,
Oh,
but
it's
it's large
3
enough
enough.
for 3 of them, yes.
What is this?
An open area. I'm not sure what I'm doing with it. I
Oh,
might
okay.
make a little picnic area or something there for,
Did you originally own this property as well?
I did.
Awesome. Okay.
Yes, we're
Which
both-
other businesses do you envision seeing going into the mall?
a restaurant, a hair salon, title company, some kind of loan, store,
You
payday loan or
interested
something,
in-
and,
In leasing
Just-
to massage studios or?
excuse me.
Don't, no.
Well, I don't know. I'm waiting for people to bring ideas, and I'm hoping all kinds of stuff comes out there,
Well,
so,
that was my next question. Do you have anybody who's expressed an interest?
Nobody knows about it.
Nobody knows about it, okay.
I'm fixing to get a 3D image, and I'm gonna put a big billboard out there, and I'm gonna start seeing who's interested in it.
And each of the units are how big?
One is 1,000, the next one is 1,250. One is 1,000, the next is 1,250.
Okay.
And they're like that for each one of those.
And so somebody could take 2 or 3 or
Yes.
whatever they
Yes, it's gonna be a
needed
still
for their.
building. They'll be able to open up to all one spot, or 3, or just leave it as is.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question? By any chance, on these units, are you willing to put like a meat market or anything like that?
I've actually had, when I was working with the Dollar General, I had somebody calling from a meat market, and they have several meat markets, and he was waiting for me to do what I'm doing now, and he said he'd come back and talk to me, so yes, I would love to see one come there. I live real close, like minutes from the entrance right there, so I know all that stuff will be handy, and welcomed, you know, and I'm sure they'll get a lot of support from the neighborhood,
Right.
whoever does come there.
Well, I love the elevations. The elevations look very nice. So have you already discussed with the Bear County about the septic?
I have engineers working on it, I have everybody, everything's.
That's the only way
every-
he'll
yeah,
get his electricity.
Right.
Yeah, you can't get electric
Right.
without that. They'll
Yeah,
make sure it's
being that
monitored.
we have no building code presently, you know, we would
I'm aware.
tell you the same thing we told Dollar General and that we told Mr. Ramos, is that you follow international fire code during your construction process,
Definitely.
which is basically your building code up until the completion time. So anything that requires sprinkler systems or vents, you'd have to address. So at any point, we would, we could maybe ask the fire marshal, Bear County Fire Marshal, to perform an inspection at any time.
I'm in touch
But
with- I'm in
just,
touch
you
with
know,
him
we
already.
just ask you to
Good.
do that for public safety.
So you are having engineering done on the
Definitely.
elevation
We're gonna have
for
sprinklers, I'm
stormwater
in
and the
touch
whole
with
bit?
All that,
Okay.
shooting.
What is your time frame for,
I'm in the planning process right now, so I figure to be platted in the next month, and I figure to have my building plans in the following month, so 2 months. And I'm estimating probably 6 months or so
to complete it?
to complete it.
Are you looking at, for the parking area and the roads, are you looking asphalt or concrete?
Both,
Both, okay.
as much concrete as possible is gonna, you know, when I live out there, I'm trying to keep it nice. I don't want no
Right.
gravel or
Right.
loose, so it's gonna be hot mix asphalt or concrete.
You've got them all numbered, so 10 per unit, so we're talking 30 units?
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all have any questions down there?
Just what's a preliminary design? Is that just what you want it to look like?
Oh,
It is, just so
did you
everybody
not-
has a rough idea of,
The elevations?
yeah, he has one.
Oh, okay.
It's got an overall site plan, so everybody can get a vision of what I got, because everybody wants to know, well, what do you plan on doing? What's, you know, is there any more to it? And what's your overall plan for the corner, you know, so they can prepare for drainage issues and all the issues that
Right.
have got to be prepared for. And
So you can bring us up with an update as you go.
definitely, definitely.
Looks good. I think that you'll have.
You can actually hang on to them if you need them for any reason for you.
Thank you.
So you'll have some kind of records.
I'm glad that you're bringing some businesses out there.
Yeah.
And I think you got a great idea. I've had actually family members ask me, and they wanted to come out here and do what you're doing, who have businesses in San Antonio. I would ask you that when you get ready to do this, that we take an opportunity to maybe do a groundbreaking with some media coverage and get this in the newspaper so that other folks can see that the city is growing and that we have people interested in developing here. So yes, if you wouldn't mind, when you get ready, let's get out there with some shovels and take some pictures like Nelson Wolf does and post it in the paper. And if it costs us money to put it in the paper, so be it. I think it's good
I think it's,
advertising.
yeah, I
for
think
the
so
city.
too.
It would be good for the city, and
Great.
I'll definitely attend it, so.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
I don't know that we need to do anything to approve his plans. Do
Just
we need
hire
to do
within the
anything?
community.
And actually, I do, all my, I built a few houses out there, around over there and out there, and everybody that I work with lives in the community because I need access to them. I don't want somebody to say, oh, I'm
Right.
coming from Thousand Oaks. And
Right.
I know you live right here on, you know, whatever the road would be, you know.
Right. Well, very nice.
It looks good.
What is it that you need from the city?
Blessing and.
Well, when you get to
just
some point where you
everything's-
need some type of, you may come to some point where you need a variance from the city, where the county may say that, well, you need a permit for this, but it doesn't come from us because they're a
city?
city now. You may need to come back to us for some type of a variance, and with that, you may just need to contact our city clerk. And we've done that for some folks already.
Yeah,
So,
we helped out Dollar General to help
although
get
your
them over.
easement, if you're not putting an easement out on the
He is.
main road, he is.
He is, and that's what he's saying, that TxDOT may grant him a third. This would be the TxDOT right away, so he's got two.
Yeah, coming from the off-ramp on 37, that's where you're gonna have to talk to TxDOT about your
I'm on it.
aprons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it.
Anything on Mathis Road,
Well, you have to get permits directly through TxDOT. That's not something that we can, whenever you tie into their right of way. But certainly, does anybody have any objections? Okay. Well, just
That's
let
all we'd ask,
us,
that you come back to us.
and just make sure that you follow the codes that we've approved, and
No problems, everything's engineered and plans and permits, and, because I don't want nothing to,
The latest one that
By this
that
spec.
they're using for construction is, unfortunately, is a 2006 edition of the International Fire Code. Although it gets updated every few years, that's really the latest one that you can put your hands on, is a 2006 edition.
And the other thing that I would request is when you get your engineered drawings and everything, if you would just get copies to the city. Even though we don't require them, we like to have them on file because things will happen as we move along. We'll get those processes in place.
not a problem.
Great, thank
Go
you.
forth and build. Or finish planning first.
If you
I
build
just wanted to
it,
keep everybody on the same page, and so.
you want these back?
And also, I missed the last meeting. Did y'all find a home for y'all's?
We can't discuss that,
All right.
but I will call you.
Do you want these back?
No, you can have them. Great. 30 files.
I will call you another day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item 9, discuss and consider amending the ordinance prohibiting the sale of fireworks within the city of Sandy Oaks limits to include banning the storage of the same and establishing fines, penalties, and an effective date. This was brought back because the council inadvertently removed the storage portion of the original ordinance, and we did not put any fines or penalties in here. And Leslie, correct me if I'm wrong, but something like this is not enforceable. We don't publish it until such time as it is enforceable. Is that correct?
Well, you're establishing a penalty, correct?
We are, but
What is,
I'm thinking more in terms of the marshal's office, which would be the enforcement arm.
right, and you're not going to enforce this immediately?
No.
I think enforcement on this item, though, could also be enforced by the fire marshal if there is storage
I think you
of
should.
combustible materials. So
Right.
I think we need to have the ordinance in place so that it can be enforced on
I
each
think you
side.
should- Once it's passed and the penalty's established.
Go ahead and publish
I think
it.
you should go ahead and publish it, then it's
It's
enforceable.
enforceable.
It's in place, you've dotted your
Perfect.
i's and crossed your t's.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so we are adding the storage on here, but also, that would be in section 3, sale and storage. And then number 5, section 5 is around the penalties and fines. Do you have any insight into, I mean, can we set it at whatever we want? Is there an established guideline that we should be using?
Typically, cities, when they enact an ordinance, they place the maximum at 2,000.
That's what I thought. I didn't know if we could do that.
You can place it at whatever you want, the maximum.
Maximum of 2,000 and a minimum of 500. It's a company. They would be able to.
Well, it doesn't have a minimum on here, it just says a maximum.
Okay, so we just.
Not
go
to
with the max.
exceed. So do I have a motion from the council members on the penalty that we want to put into this ordinance?
I make a motion that we put the penalty at $2,000, not exceeding $2,000.
And I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderwoman Gillespie to complete Section 5 on the penalty, that a fine should not exceed $2,000. Alderman Tremblay has seconded that. Do we have any further discussion? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And Charlotte, I'm going to want to get a clean copy without the highlighted portion.
And are we going to amend the other ordinance?
We never signed, we never executed the other one. So we're just putting this in place, correct? We voted on it, but we did not sign it or post it.
There
To
was,
be posted.
okay. So the caption needs to be amended then,
The caption needs to be amended,
because you said you,
Right,
right here.
right, it'll have to
or you have amending ordinance number 2015-blank.
be prohibited sale
And
And
the
storage.
effective date is when it's,
once it's published.
Once it's published, yes. So we'll approve it. So, okay, so at the last meeting, we approved banning the sale.
Okay, so you are amending.
We are
that,
amending
because you're
that
adding
one.
Storage.
Storage.
So it'll be a different ordinance number?
Correct. This is the ordinance that will supersede the previous ordinance that you adopted.
So the caption needs to be changed to represent that this is amended.
Well, I think it says that, amending.
Oh, it does
an
say
ordinance
amending
of the
right
City
here.
Council
See it right there?
ordinance 2015-.
Okay. And I'm not sure what that number was,
That's
Charlotte.
32.
It's 32? Okay.
The fireworks, right.
Okay, we'll get a
So this
clean
one-
copy and then we can just execute this one. Okay, perfect.
So we need a motion to amend it, adding storage with penalty. Which I will do.
That's what I said.
We
Discuss
amend-
and consider amending the
Right,
ordinance.
but nobody's made the motion yet. We put the fine in. The fine will not exceed $2,000.
Got it. Okay, I'm with you.
Now we need to
Okay, so you're going to make a motion?
make a motion to amend the ordinance to include storage with the imposed fine.
So we're going to amend 32 to include storage. Okay, we have a motion from Alderman Tremblay to amend ordinance 2016-32 to include storage.
Yeah, I think it's
Is it
201.
15?
1.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
December.
Yeah, it says 2015. Okay, sorry. 32. Okay, let me do that again. A motion to amend ordinance 2015-32 to include banning the storage of fireworks within the city limits of Sandy Oaks. Do we have a second?
second.
With the approved, to include the improved penalty.
We already approved
We-
that.
Yeah. And so it's going in with the amendment?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Tremblay and a second by Alderman Gillespie. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to item 10. Looking for an update on signage for the city of Sandy Oaks from the previous city council meeting held on December 15th, 2015. This is a follow-up from the last meeting that was brought forth by Alderwoman Gillespie and Alderman Tremblay.
Have we received anything from Beard County for purchasing as far as directing that to the mayor?
No, I talked with Dwayne Robinson about that.
Can we expect something from them?
We can. We can.
And do we have a timeline?
I would say certainly before the next meeting.
Then I'll make a motion that we postpone item 10 until the February regularly scheduled council meeting.
Was that to get the cost you're talking about?
Right. And at that time, if we don't have something at that time, I think we'll just
We'll do
go out
something
and do
different.
a local purchase through a private vendor.
Well, so let me give you a little background on kind of what's going on with the purchasing department. This interlocal agreement that Bear County is entering into with the different cities is new. This is a new thing for them. So they're trying to get things all organized and, you know, we signed it, we went for it, we're ready to use it. They're not quite there yet. I did talk with Dwayne Robinson, and he's putting together something now that is going to be like 5 easy steps to interface. They also have a new purchasing manager who stepped in to run that department. So she's coming on board as well. So it's just a little slow off the starting blocks, but I certainly think by February meeting, we should have some good answers. Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Tremblay to postpone this agenda item till the next meeting in February. We have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Alderwoman Gillespie. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 11, discuss and consider purchasing insurance for general liability, law enforcement liability, and errors and omissions liability through the Texas Municipal League Intergovernmental Risk Pool. And I brought this one forward, and during our last meeting, we addressed some of the items for insurance coverage that the city needs specific to vehicles. The reason we're even having that discussion is our current insurance coverage is under something called the Texas Small Municipalities, and it does not allow for vehicles. And we have a couple of vehicles that were graciously donated by Bexar County, but we have not yet been able to procure them because we don't have the necessary insurance in place. So at the last meeting, we approved the auto liability. What we need to, in effect, cancel our small municipality coverage is to have coverage for those items that we lose under the small municipality program. So that's kind of what this agenda item is for. And the errors and omissions is important. You each have copies of what the liability coverages are. There is a whole lot more information if you want to read every finite detail on what is and is not covered, but this is kind of the highlights of what it is. If you'll notice on the coverage sheet, we're not going to discuss workers' comp because we don't have employees. We can do that in the future, but right now, these items that are on the agenda, we have to adopt them in order for the theft, forgery, public employee dishonesty, and the auto liability can kick in. It's a package. It's kind of a package deal.
So we don't have to include the workers' compensation?
Not the workers' comp on this one, no. We're looking from general liability down to the auto. So general liability, law enforcement liability, and errors and omission. So the general liability has a $300,000 limit for each occurrence with a $250 deductible, and the annual premium is $215. The law enforcement liability is a $300,000 limit each occurrence with a $1,000 deductible for an annual fee of $485. And the errors and omissions liability is $300,000 each wrongful act with a $1,000 deductible and a $517 a year fee.
So although we need the auto portion, these other items that we're required to pick up, even though we don't have our law enforcement.
Correct.
Yet we still need to pick this insurance up?
Yes. Well, and the reason is the vehicles are specific to the Marshal's Department.
And are we going to be able to move those vehicles soon?
When we can get the insurance, but we can't get the insurance till we get all the other insurances in place.
So this does include the auto insurance?
We did auto last time.
Okay.
We did auto, and we did the public employee dishonesty, forgery, and altercation, all those. We took care of those already.
So who's going to move the vehicles?
I will defer that to the marshal.
Who personally is going to, because
We
do this.
Okay, I have a couple of options. Mr. Totten there has offered, and he changed his mind. He changed his mind.
He doesn't have a trailer anyway.
Okay, well, that offer expired.
What was the question?
The question is, who personally is going to move these vehicles?
As soon as it's ready, I'll move them.
You. Okay, that's the question. That's what my question is.
Yes.
Okay.
We can make that happen.
You've answered my question. Thank you.
Okay.
We have a place to put them.
We don't.
You can put them in my yard.
There you go, you've got
I got plenty of
room.
room.
David's got room and it's secure, so we could put him in his place. Okay, and you know, the sad thing is those vehicles, they were given to us in January of last year. We have yet to actually physically take possession.
So if we approve this today, can we get those vehicles moved?
I have the exemption applications for license plates that the marshal graciously provided to me. I can get the insurance bound. I've already been in contact with them. And what they will do is whatever amount is left on our small municipalities policy, they'll transfer that balance to cover this. So it's just a matter, once the insurance is bound, we're good. Then once the vehicles are brought, then the marshal will work with the city clerk to get the titles transferred.
Okay. I'm still looking for a win.
Well,
Because it just keeps
how
getting,
about
it
next,
just keeps getting
how about next Friday?
moved and moved. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm
Okay,
looking
let's
for a
try for
date.
next Friday.
Right, I'm looking for a date and.
We
and
can't do
by-
anything until we get the insurance
Okay.
bound, so. And I know the county's anxious for us to get the vehicles off the property.
Okay, so what are we looking to do on this?
Well, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to purchase the general liability insurance required.
And
Get
the
the
law,
job done.
and the errors and omissions?
Yes.
Well, would you make the motion, please?
I make a motion that we purchase the insurance for general liability, law enforcement liability, and errors and omissions liability through the TML Intergovernmental Risk Pool.
Okay, we have a motion from Alderman Tremblay to accept the quote from the Texas Municipal League's Intergovernmental Risk Pool for the policy for general liability, law enforcement liability, and errors and omissions liability. We have a second?
I second the motion.
Got double do. I'm going to, Karen, I'm going to,
I know, give it to her, it's her first motion.
okay. Then you're going to make me say your name.
You gotta get used to it.
Matawala.
Matawala. Okay. Like Guatemala, but with an M?
Right.
Awesome, I can do that. Okay. We have a second by Alderwoman Matawala. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion passes. And we are moving right along here. Okay, item 12, update on auditor solicitation from the previous city council meeting held on December 15th. Ms. Ray was going to post on the TML website to solicit an auditor to help us with our financial audit, our annual financial audit. Have you got an update on that?
No, we have, it was put on the website, but I have gotten no replies.
So Ms. Gassan, what is do you have any suggestions on how we go about finding an auditor?
How long has it been?
About a month. I think I put it on there for a month, yeah.
And it should be an easy one. There's not a whole lot here.
At the,
Can we post something in the San Antonio Express? It'll cost us a few dollars, but
Yeah.
we can put it so it comes out in the Sunday paper. Can we do that?
You can publish it in any newspaper you want.
I think we hit the San Antonio newspaper. we
San
might
Antonio
be
Express
more-
News?
Yeah.
Should I call around to some of the other little cities and see who they use?
Well, and what I did initially was I looked at who was their financial person, and I made a few phone calls, sent a few emails. I heard nothing back. And they are governed by, it's called GFOAT, and it's a government something, it's their set of guidelines that they use. So I went to that website, and it basically points you to TML. And so I thought, well, maybe that's why I'm not getting a response, is that is the appropriate channel to go through, but.
at the, that clinic I went to in Cuero, that was addressed, and the two attorneys that were there said that pretty much any CPA can do it for you. It's not, especially, this is kind of a basic audit, but that pretty much any CPA can do it.
Well, the issue is that they use different accounting principles from the generally accepted that the commercial enterprises use. So, I mean, as long as
There
they're,
are some cities that do just that. They find a CPA that will do it, and they continue to use that CPA, as the years move forward. You could call around to other small municipalities perhaps and talk to their mayor or their city manager and
okay.
get some ideas, get some recommendations of who they might use. And maybe even call TML themselves.
Okay.
There may be, or, some suggestion on their
You're
part.
not aware of any? That-
Off the top of my head, do I have a name? No, I don't, but I know that I can get you some names of what other clients have used before
Great, that would work.
That would help.
as a starting point.
And
If
the
you-
hard
if
thing
you
about
wanted
trying to get a
to-
CPA right now is too,
It's
it's
tax
time's coming
season.
up, and it's gonna be
It is
hard to
tax
get a
season.
CPA, so we need to probably move pretty fast on this,
Right,
because
but-
we're gonna
Right.
get put on the back burner. What's the requirement to have this done by?
It's within the first year, so, I mean, we're actually past due.
We're behind curve,
We're
so-
behind. But I mean, we haven't really had any activity going on anyway, but I mean, we do need to do it, and I want to get it done in anticipation of our master plan, because I think it kind of flows all into the same
So
thing.
Charlotte, do you wanna call some other cities, or would you rather the attorney do
Why
it?
don't you see if you can find someone? If not, then I'll put in the paper.
'Cause we-
We don't have anything in the next 2 weeks.
Do you want to do San Antonio Express News, or you want to do Wilson County?
I'd do
I'd probably do San Antonio.
San Antonio,
Yeah.
because you got a bigger, I know, but it's
Okay,
a little more expensive, but.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a big ad.
it does not,
Yeah.
no. Okay, so
Yeah.
we have a motion to address this issue? I guess not.
I motion that we put it out in the necessary news media in order to obtain the city auditor. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Wait a minute, I'm not done. I can only write so fast. Okay, we have a motion by Alderwoman Tanguma to post in the newspaper for an auditor to prepare the city budget, or the city financial report, sorry. Do we have a second?
A second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay. On to item 13. Discuss and consider selection of available contractors through Bear County Purchasing Department for the repair of streets located within the city of Sandy Oaks city limits. This is strictly for the council to be able to work through the purchasing organization for the co-op agreement. The Bear County has an approved list of vendors that we could select from. So that was the whole purpose of this, was to keep us from having to go out to bid to do some of the minor repairs,
Do you have? a
major
list already?
repairs. I do not, but I will have an answer.
Okay. As long as it's not Tremblay, Ball, and Gillespie. We don't do street repairs anymore.
So shall we?
I think it looks pretty good.
It looks pretty good. So there,
I got something to show you out in my van.
the reason we're kind of chuckling about this is that the City of Sandy Oaks Public Works Department actually did some pothole filling over the weekend, and that was comprised of these three. Because there were some pretty substantial potholes out there, and so it's a temporary fix for right now. It's done, but ongoing, I'm not up to doing that on a regular basis. That's hard work. I'll take a motion on number 13.
I would make a motion that we utilize the Bear County Purchasing Department, and I thought we had already done this, that we were going to utilize it. Is this a separate issue altogether? Because we've already.
So that
said
brings
we
up a
would
good
use-
question.
We'd already utilized.
We agreed that we would participate in that interlocal agreement. If we want to utilize it for a specific project, do we need to bring those items to the council, or can we just engage? I'm thinking if we're authorizing the city to spend money,
Right.
basically, and we need to bring that forward.
I think that's the safer route to go. I mean, you have your general blanket authority to enter into, because of the interlocal agreement, to enter into a contract. But if you wanted to, as you have here, present a selection or a list of available contractors and have that up for discussion, and then at that point in time, have the council vote on who they'd like to choose.
Perfect.
You could schedule it as you have today as a separate item.
Okay, so we really don't need to take action on this per se until we have somebody to bring forward.
Right, you don't have a contract that you're
No.
considering, you don't have an amount that you're considering
Okay.
at this point in time, so it's basically more of a discussion item.
But what I would like to see happen, and I know this is we're looking at this as a contract. If it's the Bear County Purchasing Department, let's say like this past weekend, we probably filled 40, 50 potholes. And the reason that it was a lot of complaints about the potholes, people were saying they were damaging cars. So that was a reason to go out there and do it ourselves. What I'd like to see happen is that if we get a report, just like someone in San Antonio dials 311 and reports a pothole, or I can call the State Department and tell them that street up in front of Valero is full of potholes, they come out and fill it. We're not sitting here waiting for them to have a meeting and vote to come and spend the money. What I'd like to see happen is that somebody calls the city clerk and says, hey, there's a chug hole out here on Mathis Road we need to get filled.
And then she picks up the phone.
She can
and calls
pick up
that
the phone,
contractor.
call him and tell, hey, we need you to come out and fill this pothole.
Right.
And we're not sitting
And
here
that's
waiting.
something your contract would cover.
So,
You would have it for a period of time.
right,
We need to move fast on it.
we do, yes, we do. So I will follow up with Dwayne and also Bear County, with Mary at Bear County, and see kind of where we're at with that.
Because we've
then I can
allocated
bring-
funds for street repair,
Yes.
so we need to start doing
So
it.
I'll bring some available contractors to the next meeting. So we're going to,
So
no
we don't
action?
necessarily have to do an RFQ.
No.
If
No,
we're
no,
utilizing
because
their
you're
purchasing
utilizing-
department,
Correct. They have gone through the process, and because of the interlocal agreement, you have the opportunity to then utilize that tool they have in place, their purchasing department.
Right.
And their available
do
contractors.
we need to have them come to the meeting for a presentation?
If you'd
No.
like them to.
Or do we simply need a statement of work from them, saying what they will do and the
You're talking about the
costs
contractor.
Right.
If we chose a contractor.
And if, the reason you'd want them here is if you were gonna have a very large purchase, like over $50,000.
Right.
I don't see us doing that.
Right,
That's not
then
happening.
you'd want them here, you absolutely would want them here, and you'd have to put it out for bid.
Right.
But on an item like this, I think you could.
Basically need to know what they charge per square foot to fill a
And I
pothole.
think that's information that probably Bear County will be able to
I think
provide.
so. They've already
all we need.
negotiated, Bear County's already negotiated the contract.
And that's all we need. That's all
Okay.
we need from them is a list of contractors, their price per square foot to fill a
Right.
pothole, and we can select from that and
Right.
make a phone call and get somebody out here to start filling potholes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll take ownership of this one and get with Bear County Purchasing on this. So there'll be no action on this item tonight. Okay. I'm going to move item 16 ahead of item 15.
What about 14?
Oh, well, sorry.
Oh, is that mine?
Sorry. Item 14, discuss and consider the creation of a newsletter by resolution for delivery and general distribution to the City of Sandy Oaks residents. This was brought by Alderwoman Tanguma and Alderman Tremblay.
Yes, we thought it was important to elevate our communication, even though we do what is necessary
Pass this to
with
Karen.
our office. It really needs to
Pass that
be
to Karen.
elevated more since some of the, citizens do not get the information. A lot of them, okay. So I had investigated the possibility of a newsletter, maybe also another company, which is it's a mailed, what's it called, direct mail. So actually they mail in bulk, and we can mail by geographic area, like zip code without, have resident, and then just kind of mail it out to everybody, which is compressed in pricing. Or we can do newsletters ourselves. I was thinking maybe I mean, newsletters I do newsletters for different organizations. Not hard to write, but it's distribution that's very time consuming. So a quarterly newsletter maybe, and in between, maybe use this, you know, for, you know, if we have some special issue we need to let them know about, you know, say a new ordinance that went out or something like that. So, and I haven't seen this.
That right there, so
These are samples of their work.
they are, and so
Everybody wants to see
here's
them.
what happens. Alderman or Alderwoman Gillespie went to the post office and was asking a different question, and I said, hey, while you're there, find out about a permit, a postal permit. And what was it, EDDM, every door, every, something,
door delivery.
every door direct mail or something like
Every door
that?
delivery.
It's cheaper that
Okay.
way.
And so I did some checking on the website, and it pointed me, when it said, you know, if you want pricing, click here. So that's what I got. And what they do, they will develop your material, or you can provide it to them. And what they send here are samples. So these are sizes, these are different configurations, and they would you could use them, you know.
I don't think we could get all our information.
Well, no, but.
Unless it's a monthly.
But you have trifolds and menu type
Yeah,
things,
right.
and then, so anyway, and then
I think for
they don't
1,000 it
use-
was $219 for a 4x6, no, 4x8.5.
Yeah.
So, you know, that would be maybe like.
How much was that?
$219. And then that, yeah.
that's
For 1,000?
just,
For
that's,
1,000, but it
For
doesn't
1,000.
include the postage.
that does not include the postage.
So that's an added cost.
But they
Yeah,
will
I
do
think
the
that's what
postage.
They will do
Talked
it?
about doing our own metering, and
Yeah.
I've been bringing this
So
up
there are
for a
several
while.
different ways. we
Metering
can
does not
approach
help
it.
us, it doesn't save us any money.
No.
Yeah. What did you find out about postal permits? There's 3.
Well, there, in order for it to benefit, in order to benefit, you have to mail out, in essence, 1,500 items per month
Per month, okay.
because of the cost of the permit. And that's your breaking point. And I was talking to them and the postmaster down here in Elmendorf, and he said, he used to be in Seguin, and he said there's actually only one, I believe he said only one entity in Seguin that does that much mailing, and it's the water company. So that's kind of
The
out.
postal permit was not gonna.
You end
So
up paying,
what if we
and
did
you
a
would end up paying more
trifold and-
because it has to be in bunches of
Tried to Tiger
500.
included in their bill,
Anything less than
billing.
500, you don't get the break
I
on
don't
the
get a bill.
postage anyway.
Right.
I know, so
Right.
if we do it online, that's. you lose.
Well, I will tell you that I did talk to Mr. Ramos, who's going to be doing the restaurant, and I think Alderwoman Tanguma talked to Dollar General, and they're both open to allowing us to have a distribution point at their businesses. And I'm certain that Mr. Gibbs, I think he's left, he would be
And
open to
ongoing
that as well.
newsletter that's not bad because, I mean, I've done plenty. I mean, I can always just, people call in, or you approve it, it has to be approved.
Right.
And then it can be printed out at Office Depot or something. And then we just put it there and it's done.
Right.
So what if we
Hopefully
tried,
it doesn't
well,
get
what if we tried the first one and we just handed
Just-
them out? The first one, just to see.
Hand it out
if we-
physically,
Right.
door to door, or
At the
stand.
No,
street corner,
usually it's
at the
street corner, Dollar General,
Oh,
or,
We
right.
set up a tent last week at the Dollar
right,
General.
right.
That went well. I thought it went well. We did a little on Waterwood on Sunday. It wasn't as well, but we could go back to the Dollar General, set the tent up, got the large banner, and it grabs people's attention. And if you can hand them something to take away that
Right.
you can give them some information, that's great.
And then if they have questions, you're standing right there to answer them.
So what
I'm
we-
leaning more towards, on the initial one, actually mailing it to everyone, to make sure everyone gets it.
well,
And then after that, maybe have them out in the stores or have distribution points. But I just feel like if we're really trying to get the information out, I think the first one should be mailed to.
and
So
we
we don't
have,
miss anybody, like the ordinances go out and they're advertised in the newspaper, and so nobody will be missed and they know what's going on.
Well,
That'd
for
be
to
English and
clarify,
Spanish.
the only time an ordinance is published is if it has a fee or fine on it. Not everything is published in the
Okay.
newspaper.
That could be a little.
So it
Right.
should be, those should be the ones that go in the newsletter, the ones that are punishable.
Right. So I think a newsletter is a good idea. The mode of distribution is always the issue.
It is.
It is the issue. The newsletter is not an issue.
Well, you know, we gave a list to Tiger for them to use for their mail out. And that letter included the logo for the city and also Tiger. So
You have a list.
I have a list.
Yeah.
How many,
There were 1,313.
so if it's $250 per thousand, we're probably looking at $350, $400 for the first mail out.
Right, $400 probably for the first mail out.
And is that for a trifold or is that an envelope?
You know,
That's for a card.
For a
That's not a
card,
full
see.
one.
Well, the lady called
That's why I
me-
said you do a newsletter, it would probably be best to do the newsletter ourselves instead of having a design company do it.
That's
Right.
kind of what I'm thinking.
I mean, I'm good at it, believe me. I have a master's in English. I teach writing. I mean, it's nothing, it's a joy to me to write.
Before we,
Well, I
wait,
mean,
wait, 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 wait,
let's
wait.
make a
I
motion
have, before we do that, I would like to make a small announcement. Alderwoman Tanguma has now completed her doctorate, so she is now Dr. Tanguma. Okay, carry on.
But I have skills, I love using them, and I can maintain a letter. The only problem is everybody has deadlines to put in the information, then you have to approve it.
Well,
before it goes
and
out.
that's probably something we need to discuss is what do we want to put in there? And
Right.
I kind of think
It probably needs
pretty
more.
basic stuff at first.
Who we are,
Sure.
the council, introduce ourselves, and then just jump right into the ordinances. I mean,
And
the
even
tax rate.
if we mailed out the first one, and in the first one tell people that the following ones will be available at Dollar General,
And we could
the
set
rest
Places
of
We'll
around-
tell them we'll be there,
Places around town.
you know, on the weekend, we'll tell them when we be there, and we can take people can rotate their
Right.
time to do
Yeah, because I
that.
don't think anybody knows who's who
Right.
That's true.
or how to get a hold of
That's
who.
why we need a
Right.
newsletter. We
Yeah.
need to be out there, yeah.
The communication needs to be out there, and you need to put it in English and in Spanish.
And that's where you could come in, on the other side of the
No,
newsletter.
that's
I use Google Translate. I don't know if it's right or not, but that's what I use.
Do you want to begin with something and maybe bring,
Yes.
The
bring,
two-
bring the city up to
Yes.
date as of, up to January 2016? Maybe go ahead and draft it and let the mayor proof it and approve it
From what we've worked on so far.
from the beginning
From
up
the
to now.
beginning up till now.
So you may need to,
I
you
just
know,
started in November.
I understand, but you can look at, you can look
Oh,
at, you can look at the website and look at
website.
the ordinances.
I'll go
And
to the website, I'll do
if
it.
you have any questions, you
have-
can get
you
with
can call-
Charlotte. Charlotte has everything that's
Throw
signed.
down the highlights.
Okay, that would be
Yeah.
nice if she could prioritize
Yeah.
for me, that would be great, because it's
I'll
only
pick
a
out the
page or
highlights.
two,
Right.
you know.
You don't have to do it all yourself.
No. Reach out to any,
That's right, I'm a doctor, I can delegate, right?
that's right. You can delegate. Well, this was your
I'm Mayor
If,
Latham.
if you
cohort,
can,
so.
if you can,
Congratulations, here's your assignment.
if you can draft it
Yes. Okay.
and have it for the next meeting,
Yeah, I
the
can
mayor
put
could
the
approve it.
logo and
Sure.
make it nice, little design, and she
And
can give me the parties and all.
Can you do English and Spanish?
I can do Spanish, but I really, do you write, I can write Spanish, I need a proofreader for that. So on one side you want English and the other side you want Spanish, and how many pages do you want? I mean,
I think you could
We're
probably,
gonna have
it
to
has
stuff
3
them
pages and
in
that's a book,
envelopes.
so.
we're gonna
not
tell them-
necessarily.
You're just gonna
Because
fold it.
if you do them in such a way that you leave one section
Yeah.
that you could fold over,
Fold it
And
over.
what I'm
And
used
just-
to, yeah, what I'm used to
Tape it.
doing is.
you
is
you
the
buy little
last-
dots that seal them.
Stickers.
I
You
actually
put
have a
stickers for the-
template that I use for Try. So on the side that I fold in, the outside already has the logo and the header. And all I do is pull labels. I would print labels and just put them on there. So, and I would use a sticky.
I can
for
show
the
you
Try.
how to use
I know you told me.
print
how to-
merge
yeah.
and we can
So
print
would
it
you
on
like
there.
But I
to,
have a template for that where I can just plug you guys in. You know.
should we do maybe a bullet type
I think
list
the
of the
bullet would
things
be
that,
good.
what we want to
Bullet would be
include?
good.
So we introduce the city council
Yes.
to include the attorneys who represent us.
Mhm.
Let's, I mean, we could jump in with the ordinances, and I would say just put the ones that are punishable.
Okay.
I would mention the trash collection, the contract. I mean, because there are people that still don't, you know, I mean, we had a guy stop on the road and tell us, what gives you to make me
What's
take
this?
Tiger Sanitation?
Right.
I'll take my own trash. Okay, you don't have to take Tiger Sanitation.
Okay.
But just as well as, you know, some of the things we've done that are,
And that'll be easy to copy and paste from the website.
Sure.
You know, that'll be easy, so. And if I put in bullet form, you won't hear all that eloquent English, me trying to create, you know,
when we meet,
yeah.
how often we meet.
And when you get a copy final, we'll start putting them on the website as well.
Put in the
Okay.
newsletter.
I like it that,
I would like to
like the
see
Tiger Sanitation, it had
vehicles
the month
that were
and the
donated by their
day,
county.
Oh,
especially highlighted that.
As far as
Those are
when the
the
trash
days of the
containers can be
meetings.
put out on the curb.
Yes, there is a schedule that they sent to
They
everyone.
sent
Oh, they did send a
Yeah.
schedule?
Yeah, I've got it.
For the whole year.
It
For the trash and the recycling.
It did include bulk though.
I know. I've asked them to,
It's a real
they're
nice-
they're trying to get their schedule firm on those quarterly pickups, so.
It's a real nice one-page.
Well, he told me
It's
that
really
they
nice and
didn't,
basic.
he said that they didn't make it in the original mailing.
They didn't.
Oh, ad space, that's interesting.
Maybe when we get that far, when we have some more notes, it's a good idea.
Definitely ad space. And the guy was, yeah, he needs to fill his, so he might want to advertise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
If I get it started, think about
Plans you can put in there, Mr. Ramos's
right, about the,
submitted plans to build a restaurant. Mr. Gibbs is planning a strip center there behind the Dollar General. But City Council is working on getting some streets repaired. I mean, some things that maybe people keep
right,
bringing to our attention that
We fix
we're
those.
we're fully aware of, although we, the animal control,
right.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the people need to know that things are getting addressed. We have the majority of the people that don't come, they don't know what's going on.
Right.
But in reality, things
There's
are.
things are happening.
well, some work, some are physically unable and, you know, things like that.
Right.
And some are getting misinformation.
Right, and then they
Right.
hear, you go and you tell me, and then from, not for the horse's mouth, but from
Right.
2 or 3
Right.
other people, so. That'd be great. Okay, I'm on it.
Okay.
We'll see it Monday.
Okay, so we don't need to make a
No
motion
action.
on this one?
no.
Unless we want to authorize
We just
the
make a
expenditure?
note, that Alderwoman Tanguma will present a draft at the February meeting for approval by the mayor and request funding for distribution.
Okay,
Since we live on Dragon Rock, both of us, we can work together on that, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
Okay, it's your first assignment.
So we need to add her
We want to
website.
part,
I've already reserved you an email, well, not you specifically, but I reserved an email for the incoming person.
Pop up there and just start getting email from the city of San Diego.
I have a question. Is there any way that we can get that sooner than later? So
Get
that
what
by the next
sooner?
meeting.
The newsletter?
The newsletter?
well, yeah, I can work on it this weekend.
Well, so the kind of the way it works is she'll get it developed, we'll get a draft, we'll present something to the council, and then authorize the expenditure at the next
Then it
meeting.
can go after.
And then it can go.
Yeah.
Governments move slow notoriously,
Okay,
so,
no, that's
And
great.
month by month.
yeah.
Would you want to take up a motion to authorize her to go ahead with the creation of the newsletter and then discuss distribution at the next meeting, or you just want to take it all up?
I think we'll do it all at the next one for distribution and cost, because maybe, depending on how big it, we don't really know how to estimate the cost till we know how big it is.
I'll just make a motion that we approve the creation of a newsletter and that Alderwoman Tanguma will present a draft at the following meeting.
Okay. That's slow.
I'm sorry.
Damn, I just wrote the wrong motion. Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Tremblay authorizing Alderwoman Tanguma
The creation of a newsletter.
the creation of a newsletter.
That Alderwoman Tanguma will create a draft to present at the next meeting.
I'm with you, You're just So we have a motion by Alderman Tremblay to authorize the creation of a newsletter by Alderwoman Tanguma that will be presented to the next city council to then consider distribution and cost
Funding for,
and funding. Yes. Phew. Have a second?
You ready? I second.
I'll bring some copies so everybody can take a look.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
all right?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay. So now I really do want to move item 16 above item 15. Item 16 says, discuss and consider a resolution accepting the CPS electricity accounts related to street lighting from the Waterwood Park Property Owners Association and authorizing payment of said account balances. And I'm bringing this one forward. And I will tell you that I started having conversations with CPS about right after the first of the year, when everybody got back to work. And been working pretty closely with them, but my work schedule interfered. And so I asked Alderwoman Gillespie to step in and kind of make some phone calls and spearhead this a little bit. And the bottom line is this: there is no signature required from the WPPOA in order to transfer the billing, because the billing, anyone can pay the bill. These are lights that are on utility easements, regardless of who owns the streets. The bills are significantly in arrears to the tune of over $5,000, and they are at risk of being terminated. And I think for the health and safety of the citizens, that it's something that I think the city should consider doing. So what I'm proposing is that we work with CPS to have the bills put into the city's name. We'll continue to pay the bills, keep the lights on. There is no transfer of any asset per se required in this. And in return, CPS is going to be providing a map where they will line out where every streetlight is. And I know Alderman Gillespie did talk with them, and there were a couple of lights that were defective that they pointed out. They're very willing to work with us. The group that she was working with, I think they work specifically with municipalities. So you have anything you want to add on that?
There is there were deposits made on these accounts, and what would happen if the City of Sandy Oaks takes over these accounts, and they're small deposits, they would be applied to the balance that's there. Then the City of Sandy Oaks would need to post our own deposits. And it's 4 accounts. And it would be, 3 of them would be $100, and the 4th account would be $45.
The deposits.
The deposits, yes. So it's kind of a, wash. They'll credit.
The bill and then we pay them back.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Correct. And they're going to, we'll have a full count of how many there are, of how many lights there are. On that larger bill, there are 86 lights.
Oh, that's what expired.
Yeah. And on that particular bill, you'll see, if anyone has any question about it, on that bill, it will, you've got...
Which one are you looking at?
The biggie.
The biggie, 074, I think it is.
Yeah.
No,
If you
it's
look-
303.
303. If you look on the second page down there, under, you've got payment adjustments, then you have the balance, then you have electric, public street lighting, and you've got the fuel adjustment and the regulatory. And then you have the second one, the public street lighting, same thing, fuel adjustment. And it lists kilowatt hours. And none of the street lights, there's one exception. The street lights are not metered. It's a set amount per month per light. But in order for them to compute the fuel adjustment and the regulatory adjustment, they take the average number of kilowatt hours
This is
for that
the
particular
revised
wattage light,
from
which
what's
these,
under.
we have 100-watt street lights. And they use that average to compute the regulatory and the fuel adjustment.
I'm sorry, this is the revised resolution that I just got the other day.
Any of those street lights,
Pass those down.
if you go stand underneath one of those street lights, I suggest you do it during the day, not at night, and look
Pass one to Charlotte.
up. You'll see a little small square decal, and it'll either say 10, 25, or 45, or 40. And you add a 0 to that. The ones that say 10 are 100 watts. The ones that say 25 are 250 watts. I haven't found anything other than a 10 watt so far. The bill that you find the right one, that is for the 3700 block of Waterwood Pass, that's the only metered one.
That's at the front, right?
That's at the front. That's on that, where that island is.
That's the one I've been wanting to turn off for.
It's evidently, because there was no consumption.
It's on.
All the bill that's on here is for a general service.
See, that's good, it's on 24 hours a day.
Well, then, but then we, good.
Let's hook up some more lights to that.
But that one's metered because originally there was a little guard shack, a guard building there. So that's why that one's metered. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I know more about streetlights than I ever thought I would know.
And I thank you for taking that on.
You should.
It's a lot, there's a lot involved. So I will entertain a motion on accepting this resolution for the city to accept the CPS Energy accounts and pay the back balance and maintain the bill going forward.
As much as I hate to, we need to move forward, and the more we just prolong this issue, it's just taking us longer and longer to take control and start taking care of things within the city. So, that said, I mean, I'll make a resolution that we,
This
Make a
comes out of
motion.
the utilities part of the budget, I guess?
We may have to move some items around on the budget to compensate for that, because at the time, we didn't have street lighting to consider for budgeting purposes. So we can move some items around on the
we'll have to
budget.
increase
And it's a
the-
safety issue.
It is a
Yeah, that's what I'm
safety
saying.
issue.
It needs to be done.
It
so-
does need to be done. Okay, so you're going to make a motion?
Yes.
Which is?
I make a motion, we approve the resolution to accept the CPS accounts and accept pay the balances that are due.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Tremley to approve the resolution and accept for payment the past due balances
I second.
and
Oh,
billing going forward?
Pay the bills and transfer the accounts
Okay,
to the city.
and transfer accounts, okay. We have a second?
I second.
Second by Alderwoman Gillespie. All in favor, well, before we do that, any further discussion?
Well, we can, I was going to say something else about the streetlights.
Go for it.
The easiest way to tell which streetlights are privately owned, like I have a security light at the end of my driveway. There's a difference in the length of the bracket, the arm coming out.
My handkerchief is out.
The shorter arm is the privately owned like mine. The longer one are what we're talking about here. If anybody has any doubts about it, feel free to drive by my house. My security camera will love to take your picture. And look at my security light, and you'll see a definite difference.
I have a question. On those lights, are they available for the people that don't have lights on their
So
street?
if you, we can work with CPS to do that, but any individual can call CPS and have a light put on the pole. It's a flat fee per month. I think it runs roughly $10 a month. And they install it and they send you a separate bill or include it on your
It's
bill.
included on your CPS bill.
Well, it's a
And-
different account number because I've seen them and they have different account numbers.
Well, mine's on my regular.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, mine's on my regular CPS bill.
Okay.
And they come out, when it burns out, they come out and replace the bulb. It doesn't cost you anything.
Won't there be, streetlights be addressed in the master plan?
Yes, I'm sure that some of that will be
Some of
part of
that
the
is,
master plan.
And CPS, they did tell me that if at some point we do need another street light, someone asked for a street light on their block or whatever, the city wouldn't be charged any installation fee
Just the
or
roof.
anything like that.
Just the recurring.
Yeah.
So that's good.
But if someone
As
asks
long
for
as,
a-
as long as a pole, as long as the
Someone
city,
asks for a streetlight and
they're paying for it.
they're paying for it, but does the city have to approve it?
No.
No.
So we could just be incurring, our bill could just keep going up. as
No, no, no.
people
No, no, no,
want
no,
it.
no.
Not on our account.
That's what I'm saying.
No, no,
If
no.
somebody wants a streetlight,
If somebody comes to the city and says, we would like a street light,
we say,
you know,
Yes.
then we could approve
Yes.
it or not.
Right.
gotcha.
But the point was that there's no installation or hardware purchase price associated
As
with
long
that.
as there is a CPS post there.
Yeah.
Of course, if they had to put in a post to put it on there, there would be a charge, but as long as there's a post there.
Perfect.
I know y'all are trying to get this, past this, but on those lights, there's 86 lights.
Rough.
Are they
On that one bill.
working lights or?
Well, that's the next thing is it's incumbent upon all the citizens to, if you see one that's not working, Alderwoman Gillespie found a couple that were on during the daylight and they shouldn't be. So they're going to address that, get those repaired. So, you know, they don't know that they're not working, the bulbs are
Right.
burned out or whatever, so we need to
Right.
report those. We'll come up with a way to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on top of that, just asking, I know there's a balance on the account. Is there, did y'all talk to somebody to see if there was any way that they can start y'all off in a new account with the zero balance? Or at least getting reimbursed from the,
There will be no, there'll be no
reimbursement.
reimbursement. The second item, part of your question was about a different account with a zero balance. They are willing to work with us, CPS is willing to work with us to do payments if necessary, but I don't think there's a need to do that. We have the money to do it. It's been an ongoing thing they've been trying to collect. It's not getting paid or addressed, so, you know, it's just probably a better solution just to pay it, be done with it, let's move on.
And then you wouldn't have interest on top of.
Right, the payments are going to incur a little bit of interest, so.
And the reality is, the people in this city are benefiting from those lights.
right?
It definitely is health and safety.
Yes,
related.
it's a health and safety thing, and I'm not one that, if I'm gonna use something, I'm gonna pay for it.
Right.
And we know that if it's left the way it is, those bills are just gonna keep growing and growing and growing.
And then they're going to turn them off and we're not going to have
Yeah,
any
and
lights.
I've had
No, you're right.
someone say, well, there's no way to turn them off. Well, yes, there is. Unscrew the light bulb.
That's one way.
No, you're right, I'm just
ambulance,
asking.
fire department may not be able to find an address.
Right.
Because there are no lights, it's a dark alley, it's a street, so, yeah.
Right, no, you're right.
So-
Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we're going to move back up to item 15. Discuss and consider an ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or the city attorney to negotiate and execute all documents necessary for the transfer of assets from the Waterwood Park Property Owners Association.
Yeah, I make a motion, we postpone that item until at least next meeting. There's still some issues that need to be clarified on the transfer, so the motion is to postpone that item.
Motion to postpone. Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Tremley to postpone item 15 until a future meeting.
What are we waiting on right now?
There's some legal issues that need to be clarified. Just January, February, if we can postpone it till the March meeting, I think that'll
March
give
meeting,
enough time.
postponed to March. Okay, so we have a motion to postpone agenda item 15 to March by Alderman Tremblay. Do we have a second?
I second.
Alderwoman Gillespie seconds. We have any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 17. This is a clarification from a previous one. So discuss and consider changes to the animal control ordinance as approved at the meeting of the City Council on December 15th of 2015. So this one is not written as, I don't see it as an amendment. But what we left at the meeting was there was to be some clarification on some items on,
Feral cat colonies.
yes, there were a few, and also the time constraints for,
For Selma.
so I don't think we actually approved this one. I think we,
I'm just wanting to just bench it till the next meeting because I'm in, conversation with the coalition and also this ASA, and they have the ordinances. I just wanted to make sure we covered everything, where we don't have to amend something later. I think everything's in there.
well, amending
Did
is
you
no.
did you read, because I think our biggest concern we had was the feral colonies, so they have to be a
Yeah,
registered
it's in
feral?
here. Yeah, it's in
Okay,
here.
that's,
So all
that
the
was the
details
big
about
issue.
the program.
See, it's right.
Everything else is
Yeah.
there.
Oh, okay, all right.
Alderwoman Gillespie, which section was it specific about the time constraints that we were talking about at the last meeting?
Well, it was a discrepancy. One place said,
One said
6
seven,
days.
yeah, and the other said 3. And
one said
Selma's
3, and then also another place said 72 hours.
72 hours
Right.
is what Selma's
So-
policy.
But do you
is. We
remember
have to
which
go with
section that,
So-
here it is, 3 days here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Section 10.
As long as it, they all coincide.
right, as long as they all, and Ms. Ortiz.
Yeah, that was one of the places, but there were other
Went
places.
back.
where there-
Yeah, Section 8 has it as well for capture and impounding.
I do want to mention that the to have feral cat colonies registered, it's through the city of San Antonio. I double checked to see, and it's not the San Antonio Feral Cat Coalition, it's through the city. So they're the ones that actually register.
The feral colonies, really?
So I don't know if mine are still, since we're a city now.
But I wonder if Bear County has something similar,
I can
because
check.
I don't see how anything
didn't
that
see
the City of San
anything.
Antonio is doing would involve
Yeah,
us.
'cause because it is San Antonio that registers them, because they want to know where their where these cats are and if they're being taken care of.
Right.
So, we might have to create our registration. But I'll check.
I also did have something I wanted to question on page 6 of
the-
that ordinance. On the item 2, under C, keeping of livestock within the city. On item 2, my property backs Priest Road, and it can be 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and I've got 2 or 3 pickup trucks with radios blasting and 4 or 5 horses coming down the street, and it's pitch dark. I think something else should be written in here, and I see they allow, or they ask them to ride the horse as close to the curb as possible, and that in no event shall they be on a state highway. Well, I think also, the road, surely they shouldn't be in the road, but I think we should add in here, should also be added, no person shall ride any type of livestock on a public right-of-way before sunrise or after sunset.
That would basically be when
Because
it's dark.
it's a regular thing, every weekend, it's like a rodeo on Priest Road.
It is.
Well, it's dark and,
It's
you
very
know, if the
dangerous
animal
for the
gets
to the
Yeah,
animal.
spooked or
so
something.
I just think we need to add that in there, and I mean, I was kind of anxious to get this thing passed, and I know it's.
Do you want to
second time
add it
around.
as number
We could
2 or
amend-
number 3?
We could amend to approve with the amendment, if you like to do that, like we did on the previous one. But if we would just amend or to add, because you're addressing writing in section 2, you can just be added to section 2. No person shall ride any type of livestock on a public right-of-way before sunrise or after dark. Thank you.
So any public right-of-way,
Persons shall ride any type of livestock
Before-
on a public right-of-way before sunrise
sunrise
or after dark.
or after sunset.
So that would be, anybody else have any?
I do. Under the definitions of premises,
On which
Page.
section? What page?
that would be,
Page 7?
no,
Look at the
page
bottom of
3,
your page.
page 3, page 3.
Page 3, okay. Premises.
A parcel of land of one or more contiguous lots. We've got lots that are much smaller than that.
It
A
does.
parcel of
what?
land.
It doesn't-
one
This
or
is just a
more-
definition of what a premise means.
Yes, it's
Control
it's the definition. And
And
Of one or more lots,
what's the question?
That's the question.
well, because it says a parcel of land of one
or more.
or more oh, okay, got it. Okay,
So you may have two lots.
1 acre.
mea culpa.
Okay, all right. I know that during our last discussion about this, I know that fowl is being addressed in this ordinance. And there was discussion around livestock as well, and some deeds do allow, Waterwood deeds do not allow for any fowl, swine, livestock. But Sandy Oaks is not made up of just Waterwood. There's 3 other subdivisions to take into account. I did find deed restrictions for, I'm going to say we're probably 99% good on everything that I found. It's posted on the website, so if anybody wants to look at any of the deeds, you can do that. But the question has been brought up about people that have chickens specifically. They're raising eggs or they're using them for bug control or whatever. And so if the city enacts an ordinance that lines something out very specifically, but it's in conflict with what their deed restriction says, I think what Ms. Ortiz said at the last meeting was that the deed restriction would overrule any city ordinance. That would be true?
That would be correct. Well, and it's, I mean, you could also grandfather those people in if you chose. And
Okay.
say the exception would apply to those that had deed restriction dated whatever, or that applies to certain X subdivision.
Sure, just taking into consideration where they're located, how their property is located, whether or not it's an infringement on their neighbors, if it's the cleanliness, if it's,
Right.
you know, a lot of ifs and buts, but
So
yeah, the
how
deed
is that-
restrictions
Should
that's
rule.
your main, that's your main.
But if
that's your main
somebody wanted an
contract.
exception to that, they would come to
Come
the
to the
city
city.
and ask for something like that? And then how does the city go about granting or denying any of those requests?
Yeah, you could take them up individually. I mean, you will or have, well, you have adopted and now you're considering amendments to the animal control ordinance. But if a citizen came up to you and said, I bought this property and I've been raising chickens for 15 years, will you grant me some sort of variance for this?
Right.
To opt out of this particular provision?
We'd simply give them a letter,
Yeah.
you sign it,
Okay,
we give it back to them, they hold it with their deed.
And then they don't, if someone comes and tries to enforce the ordinance against them,
They-
here's my
they have
letter.
it, okay.
City council has approved this, exception
Okay,
Here's my deed, right, yeah.
perfect. Okay,
And we may have several individuals within the city who will want some type of variance
Sure.
for a business or something that they had started or well before
True.
We were incorporated. So we would need to look at those individually and.
so would
and
we
act
need
on
to
them
address that variance
And you
within
can- I
here?
was just about to say, you can add some sort of language, maybe.
That's what I was wondering, where it would be
Where-
appropriate. And we probably need to add a definition on variance if there's not one already.
Thought I saw something in the end.
Vaccination, no, there's no
Oh, here
variance.
we
in-
go. 13,
Page 13?
well.
16.
Item.
Page 16?
Section 13.
Mm.
Page 16. An ordinance does not supersede a deed restriction. It's in there.
I mean, you can include some language to the effect of citizen may request a written variance. May submit a written variance request to the city of San Diego City Council. Something like that.
Got it, okay.
So in essence, if they're not violating their deed restrictions, they're not violating a city ordinance.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna add that on here. Okay, so do we want
So
to,
you want to approve as amended with those
that's
amendments?
what I'm,
That would be the,
lots of amendments here.
really, two.
But we actually approved this, did we not, Charlotte? Did we approve this? I think we did, and now we're bringing it back.
We're amending.
So this needs to be an amendment. Okay, let's get situated for this one. Page
Page
6
6.
and 16, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Oh. I put it on 17, but whatever.
616, what, yeah.
I put it at the end
At
of
the
that
end.
section. Yeah. Okay,
Because I know, we do have some folks out there who are in violation of their deeds.
Right.
And will still be in violation.
Well,
with-
and-
With these,
and I-
with this ordinance.
and just from my perspective, I don't think this is meant to be a, necessarily a hard and fast, heavy-fisted document. I think it is in place to address situations where a nuisance exists.
I think it's an educational tool.
I think it's an educational tool as well.
Definitely.
But I think that, like you said, there are a lot of people who are
Definitely something
outside
that
of
needs to
it.
go into the newsletter,
Definitely,
animal control.
yeah. Okay. All right, I'll accept a motion on this one, and talk slow, please.
I'm not even gonna try.
I'll make a motion to amend ordinance number
We don't have a number on it yet, do we?
215-36,
2015-36.
item 6. excuse
Is that
me,
2015 or
page
2016?
2015.
This is January.
Oh, yeah.
2015,
Way ahead of myself.
section 4. C2, page 6, however, easy way to find
I
it.
got it, item C2.
To
Okay.
read, and I think I've already said that, no person shall ride any type of livestock on a public right of way before sunrise or after dark.
Okay,
And I'll let you address the numbers, the last item about any variance to these ordinances that
Okay.
conflict with the deeds
and so that would be section,
may be dealt with through a variance request to the city.
section 13. Okay, so we have a motion from Alderman Tremblay to amend ordinance 2015-36, section 4, item C2 to read, No person shall ride livestock on the city right-of-way before sunset, before sunrise or after sunset. And also address item section 13 to add that citizens can submit a variance request to be considered by the city council. Do we have a second?
Yep. I second.
And that's to include, or to make exceptions for the people that have deeds that say they can do stuff, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Just make-
Or in fact, if a deed says they can't do it.
And they want
And
to.
they want to do it, they can still request a variance, but
And if it's a business like San Antonio with the horse and the carriage, they can ask for us. No, I know.
they can ask for a variance.
They can ask.
Ask for a variance.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We have any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. And we are flying right along here. Okay. So we're going to move on to item 18. And I'm so glad you're here, Leslie. Discuss and consider changes, discuss and consider a resolution to comply with the eminent domain reporting, authorizing the filing of the report and giving the city clerk authority to file this report on behalf of the city of Sandy Oaks. This is another one of those that is just a mandatory report that the city has to file. This one is dictated by the state comptroller's office. There's a $1,000 fine to the city if we don't comply with the reporting requirements, but it would not preempt us from still exercising eminent domain rights, which I thought was very interesting. So I've looked at all the documentation, and it is, it will make your head explode. There's a lot. I'm not quite sure. There was a whole list that Leslie provided. Is it correct to assume that all of those would apply to the city?
There's a list that the comptroller has. It's any and every eminent domain
Absolutely,
provision
yeah.
under Texas statute.
But it's this list that she provided
Well,
that,
Nick Cassandra provided this one, correct.
Okay.
So you'd have to identify those under section number 5 when you or whoever you delegate the authority to.
is filling out the
Is
form.
filling out the form.
And
Because
this
there's
is
gonna
an
be some-
annual reporting requirement, if I'm not
Correct.
mistaken. Okay,
And it's a new law.
Okay.
Something they just put into place, and the deadline to submit it is
February 1st, right.
So
So-
council needs to take action.
This was, the print was really small on this, but I'll go through the list of items that Ms. Ortiz put together. Condemnation of property, right of eminent domain, acquisition of property, exercise of police power, land for use of United States, general authority, another title code for eminent domain, general municipal powers relating to urban renewal, acquisition, use, and disposal of real and personal property, general powers regarding airports and air navigation facilities, acquisition by county or municipality generally, establishment of a freeway, and then under the water code, eminent domain. So some of this is local government code, some of it is transportation code, some of it is water code.
And there's many more that don't
Oh, there were
apply
a ton, yes.
to this type of.
Agricultural and, yeah, a whole bunch of things. Okay, so you each have a copy of this?
No. I never-
Y'all don't have this?
No.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to read it to you. Oh, let me read what Ms. Ortiz sent. She said there are new reporting requirements that the Texas Comptroller is requiring of all entities with eminent domain authority pursuant to Senate Bill 1812, Government Code 2206.151 through .157. The deadline to submit a report by web file is February 1st of each year, with the first report deadline of February 1st, 2016. I've attached a resolution authorizing the filing of the report and giving the city clerk authority to file this report on behalf of the city for the council's consideration at the January meeting. If you are the one with access to the comptroller's website on behalf of the city, we can make the changes, blah, blah, blah. And she gives some links where we file it, and then some of the legislative documents that went with that, and then the spreadsheet the list of things that our statutes giving the city eminent domain authority for future reference. So the resolution reads, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas, authorizing the city clerk to submit eminent domain authority report to the comptroller pursuant to Senate Bill 1812, Government Code Sections 2206.151 through 2206.157, and providing for an effective date. Whereas the legislature passed Senate Bill 1812, codified as Government Code Subchapter D, Sections 2206.151 through 2206.157 during its 84th regular session. And whereas Government Code Section 2206.154 requires that public and private entities with eminent domain authority submit a report containing records and other information specified by Government Code Chapter 2206, Subchapter D, for the purpose of providing the comptroller with information to maintain the eminent domain database under Government Code Section 2206.153 in a form and manner prescribed by the comptroller not later than February 1st of each year. And whereas an entity described by Government Code Section 2206.151 created before and in existence for at least 180 days on September 1st of 2015 shall submit the entity's initial report not later than February 1st, 2016. And whereas the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas is an entity with eminent domain authority as provided by Government Code Section 2206.151 and was created before and in existence for at least 180 days on September 1st, 2015. And whereas the city desires to submit a report as required by Government Code Section 2206.154 and authorize the city clerk to submit such report on behalf of the city by February 1st, 2016. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas. Section 1. The City Council instructs the city clerk to submit a report containing records and other information specified by Government Code Chapter 2206, Subchapter D, for the purpose of providing the comptroller with information to maintain the eminent domain database under Government Code Section 2206.153 in a form and manner prescribed by the comptroller not later than February 1st, 2016. Section 2, the report shall contain the following information. Number 1, the city's full legal name. Number 2, the city's address and public contact information. Number 3, the name and contact information of the appropriate officer or other persons representing the city. Number 4, the type of entity. Number 5, the legal provisions granting the city eminent domain authority. Number 6, the focus or scope of the eminent domain authority granted to the city. Number 7, the earliest date the city has authority to exercise the power of eminent domain. Number 8, the city's taxpayer identification number, if any. Number 9, whether the city exercised its eminent domain authority in the preceding calendar year by filing a condemnation petition under Section 21.012 of the Property Code. Number 10, the city's internet website address, or if the entity does not operate an internet website, contact information to enable the public to obtain information from the entity. And number 11, any other information required by the comptroller to comply with Government Code 2206.151 through 2206.157. Section 3, this resolution shall take effect immediately from and after the passage and approval of this resolution. Passed and approved on the 14th day of January 2016. So y'all know about as much as I do now.
So is there just a standard form that she goes to do this?
It's
or
on the
is it-
web. It's a web file.
Okay.
And I went and looked at it. I didn't actually log into it, but I do think I have access to the comptroller's website. I'd have to go
So that's the
back.
only question, whether you want to be the authorized person to do it or whether you want.
I don't care. It's a lot of, it was a very complex thing, so we can work together on it. We'll figure out. One of us or both of us will get it done.
Yeah, as long as it gets done by the first.
By the 1st, yes, by the 1st. So I'll entertain a motion from the council to, relative to this resolution on eminent domain.
I'll second that.
No, you gotta make a motion first.
Make a motion.
I will make a motion to pass,
Where am I here?
and consider resolution to comply with the eminent domain reporting.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderwoman, y'all are just enjoying this,
Tamawala.
Matawala.
Matawala.
Thank you. To approve the resolution for eminent domain reporting. Do we have a second?
Second the motion.
A second by Alderwoman Tanguma. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we'll get this one, we'll work on this, get with you probably this weekend. You don't have a copy of that one?
No, I didn't get anything on the,
I thought I emailed all that to everybody. Okay. Okay, so now we're on to item number 19. Yay.
I thought we've covered this already. 19.
We did it on an individual basis. So item 19 is discuss and consider authorizing the mayor and/or the city clerk to execute a letter to property owner, property owner's representative, or local government entity stating that the city of Sandy Oaks does not currently have plating requirements when such documentation is requested for the purpose of property development within the city. We did this, every time it's been brought up, we've brought it to the council. This is a general that would just allow, if the requests come in, then the clerk or myself can write a letter and,
It's basically a time-saving
yes.
step. If you're adopting the general ordinance to give authority to either the mayor or the city clerk to say, okay, here's your letter, you're good to go, you don't have to come
To the council, present to the
specifically-
council,
right.
seek
It's not
approval.
gonna be an item every single time, it's just a blanket authority to do this every time there's a request made.
Yeah.
Too easy.
Too easy?
Too easy.
Okay, well, I
I
will
make a motion.
entertain a motion
I make a
then.
motion. Do we need an ordinance or a resolution?
No, we're just,
I
it's
make
just,
a motion that we authorize the mayor and the clerk to execute letters for the purpose of stating Sandy Oaks does not have plating requirements when documentation is requested.
Is there any way that the rest of us know about it? Or?
Such as,
well, yeah, I think like you know what I've done. Like the one we're working on now is they want to combine two lots, basically is all. He wants to buy it as one big lot instead of two separate ones.
he wants to buy 2 lots and replat?
and replat them
Yeah.
as a single.
That,
Yeah.
that
So that's what
probably
we're
needs
trying to
to
do now,
be,
yeah.
go through its deed rather than us.
Well,
I thought
it's,
you were
but
talking
he's,
about like
they're
if
trying, no,
someone is-
they're trying to file with Bear County. And Bear County is requesting that we provide something saying, yeah, it's okay if they do that.
That's a little different than what I expected.
Why is it
Thinking
different?
about, well, I'm not
Because then you might have people
cutting up lots, yeah, and taking a single-family residence, making it, putting 2 houses
But
on one
we're-
lot. We already have that.
No, no, no,
No,
but,
this is it's two lots. The guy who's buying it wants to buy it as one lot.
but what you're saying is, it doesn't mean that anybody can come in and say, I want to chop my lot up into 5 sections, give me a letter. Where it makes sense, it's something that we would be able to provide them a letter saying, we don't have plating
And
requirements.
basically, that's all your letter's going to say.
Right.
The city, at this time, the city does not
It's stating a
currently
fact.
have planning requirements, period, signed mayor.
Right.
Period. It's basically a
So it's not
a
approving
one
it or
sentence.
not approving it?
No,
No,
you
it's
don't have,
saying
you
we don't have any plating requirements.
Right.
Right.
It's basically a one sentence fact statement saying at
Right.
this time, the city does not have plating requirements. And that's literally all the letter
Yes.
would say.
Gotcha. The motion stands.
Okay. You want to say it again?
Sure. I make a motion that we authorize the mayor and the city clerk to execute letters stating the city of Sandy Oaks does not have plating requirements when such documentation is requested by property owners.
Say it again. Clerk, execute letter what?
To execute
A letter
stating
stating, that's where I screwed up.
the city does not have plating requirements when such documentation is required by property owners.
Okay, so we have a motion by Alderman Tremblay authorizing the mayor or the city clerk to execute a letter stating the city does not have plating requirements when such requests are made. Do we have a second?
I second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. So I have one last item.
I'll take it. I'll make a motion.
I'd like someone to consider a motion on item 20.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
No, I'll second.
Oh, Doug.
He wants to stay on the